is growing.
The stakes don't get much bigger than this.
Just who can find a way to win. It doesn't matter what it looks like, you just got to find a way to be the winner at the end.
Caught by T Higgins, unbelievable!
Nailed by Hendrickson!
They clear the way for Mixon. And look at the catch! And he dives for the touchdown!
Good!
Y'all know what we got to do, dog.
Come on!
We got one job, that's win.
The Bengals look to get back on track and finish off 2023 in the win column. Welcome in to Bengals Weekly. I'm Marissa Contapelli. The Bengals make their final road trip of the year as they aim to keep their playoff hopes alive against Kansas City. So as we get you set for kickoff between the Bengals and the Chiefs, we roll the film on T Higgins, who put up his best yardage of the season. NFL Network's Andrew Siciliano joins the show to preview this AFC Championship rematch. And on Countdown, I'll tell you where Jake Browning ranks among quarterbacks in their first 5 career starts. But first, the Bengals are still very much in the playoff race, especially if they can win each of the next 2 games. Now it all starts with a crucial matchup in Kansas City in what's become a heated rivalry between the Bengals and the Chiefs. Let's now send it over to Dan Horde, Dave Lapham, and Jeff Hobson with more.
The Bengals are very much alive in the playoff race. If they can win their final 2 games at Kansas City this week, home against Cleveland next week, they're almost certainly in. The chances are better than 90%. If they go 1-1, they could still get in, but they would need a lot of help. Nobody wants to rely on somebody else. So in this Who Dey conversation, we are going to give you 3 keys to the Bengals having a 2-0 finish. Lap, you're up first.
Don't waste any possessions. End every possession with a kick, a punt, an extra point, or a field goal. Turnover ratio alone, you turn the football over, you're giving extra possessions to the opponent. Bengals are +8, they're tied for 4th in the NFL. Kansas City's -10, tied for worst in the NFL on turnover ratio. Cleveland's -7, tied for 26th. I'm telling you, if the Bengals take care of the ball, don't turn it over, they end every possession with a kick, so the hidden yards are in their favor. Kansas City and Cleveland are struggling in that regard. Could be a big deal in the final 2 games. They've only got about 20 possessions left, 10 a game. Take care of those bad boys.
I'd like to see a lot of extra points. Those are the kicks that I would like to see. All right, my key is putting heat on the quarterback, and that begins this week, obviously, with pressuring Patrick Mahomes. According to ESPN, Kansas City has the #1 pass blocking line in the NFL. Well, it sure didn't look like it last week. The Raiders had 4 sacks and 10 quarterback hits. Mahomes was on the run all day. Additionally, a good pass rush leads to holding penalties. The Chiefs lead the NFL with 24 this season. For sake of comparison, the Bengals only have 8. Then next week against the Cleveland Browns, we know Joe Flacco. He's about to turn 39 years old. He's not exactly mobile. He's played 21 games against the Bengals in the past and thrown 27 interceptions. If you can put pressure on Flacco, he will throw interceptions. So a big key in these final 2 games is going to be dominant play by the defensive line. Butch, how about you?
Well, I think we should all tip our hat to what Jake Browning has done coming off the bench. First 5 NFL starts, he's done what no Bengals quarterback has done as far as passer rating, completion percentage, and yards. Now he's going to have to outplay 2 Super Bowl MVPs in Mahomes and Flacco. Browning talked about it after the game in Pittsburgh. He can't make the mistakes. The red zone interceptions have been killing in the Burrow era. Since 2021, they've thrown 6 red zone interceptions. Browning's 2 losses have come in games he's thrown red zone interceptions. So it's all there on the table for him. Take care of the ball, especially in the big moments.
There you have it. 3 keys to a 2-0 finish and a playoff appearance in this Who Dey conversation.
Coming up next, Lap breaks down the film on T Higgins. Stay with us here on Bengals Weekly. Bengals Weekly is brought to you by Ultifiber, proud to be the official internet provider of the Cincinnati Bengals. Paycor, proud to be the official HR software provider of the Cincinnati Bengals. And Kettering Health, the official healthcare provider of the Cincinnati Bengals. T Higgins' 80-yard touchdown reception last week was the longest score of his career, as Higgins topped 100 yards for the fourth time against Pittsburgh. Let's now check in with Dave Lapham, who rolls the film and breaks down what makes Higgins such a threat.
With Jamar Chase unavailable to the Bengals against the Steelers with an injured shoulder, T Higgins' role was going to expand. And T Higgins, he can make plays. And he was targeted 8 times, 5 catches, 140 yards, 28 yards per catch. And of course, the 80-yard touchdown was a thing of beauty. Let's take a look at what T Higgins did. Pittsburgh Steelers had a lot of injuries at safety. In fact, they were down 4 guys at the safety position. They also had injuries at linebacker, so the middle of the football field was going to be wide open, hopefully, for the Cincinnati Bengals. And the Steelers played a lot of deep zone coverage. And here they're threatening with 5, but they're going to drop another one off and only rush 4 and drop 7. And look at them all drop. I mean, they're dropping deep. There's no way they're going to let them throw the ball over their head. Take a look at how some of this breaks down here. Tight end release after slow blocking consumes this defender. Tyler Boyd's going to run a deep route, consumes both of these defenders. Middle of the football field becomes very, very attractive, and you have a 6'4", 220-pound target right there. Catch, get your shoulder pad squared up the field, get yards after catch. Nice play. Here I think Pittsburgh gets a little tricky for their own good. They have 6 people involved in a pressure package right here. They're going to drop these 2 edge guys off and rush this one. But these 2 edge guys, they're not going to be able to get very deep into coverage. And they both double short receiver right here. T Higgins is going to run a route, find himself open. Browning puts it right on him. On this play, the linebacker initially buzzes underneath T Higgins' route, but again, because the tight end releases after slow blocking and he makes himself available as a route runner, he attracts the attention. Gives a little bit of an area for T Higgins to take advantage of. Over safety in front of cornerback. Nice play.
Throw over the middle, caught on the run, an 80-yard touchdown for T Higgins.
Take a look at this 80-yard touchdown catch. 5 men in a line across the 25-yard line, a picket fence of Pittsburgh Steelers defenders. Safety saying, you're not going to throw the football over our head. So the Bengals say, all right, we'll run a little slant. And actually, he gets a little bit of a matchup. The linebacker is coming underneath the buzz, and he runs the slant mismatch, can't hang with him in space, catch it, terrible angle. Can't come downhill, you gotta have a flat angle. T Higgins can run, underestimates the ability of him to pick him up and put him down. And he does exactly that. To the house he goes, 80-yard tutty, big time. As everybody knows, the Cincinnati Bengals have 2 number 1 receivers. Jamar Chase, great player. T Higgins, great player as well. 6'4", 220 pounds, long arms, great speed. He can run after the catch. He can sink his hips, get in and out of cuts, run any route that you need run. He is a big-time football player, and he showed it against the Pittsburgh Steelers.
The Bengals head to Kansas City looking to hand the Chiefs a second straight loss. We now welcome in NFL Network's Andrew Siciliano, who now joins Dan Horde to give us his preview.
He is a host on the NFL Network, and he's called some games on the radio for the Cleveland Browns this year. It is great to welcome in my friend Andrew Siciliano. Andrew, if the Bengals can win their last 2 games, they can still make it to the playoffs, and that road to the playoffs begins at Kansas City this week. What do you make of the Chiefs, who are 9-6 and just 4-4 at home?
It was not a Merry Christmas, I know, for the Chiefs. I think I was like everyone else. You looked up and all of a sudden the Chiefs were losing in the 4th quarter. I don't know that I've ever seen Patrick Mahomes that visibly frustrated on the field. And it's been building. Obviously, there have been moments, and the frustration down in, down out, the body language with Kelsey throwing the helmet and everything as well. I think that offense is broken. They have nobody who can get open. Mahomes truly does have to do everything by himself with Pacheco now in concussion protocol. I think that adds an extra layer of difficulty for the Chiefs. I think this team is eminently beatable, even if the game is in Kansas City.
Andrew, let's turn to Jake Browning. He's made 5 starts since Joe Burrow went down. His passer rating is 99.4. He's averaging more than 300 passing yards per game. In this year of backup quarterbacks, what do you think of Jake Browning and the job he's done in Cincinnati?
I love the guy. Jake's played great, and Jake has continued the swagger. Joe is obviously the king of swagger, but Jake has shown that he's got a little bit of it too. I love getting Chase Brown into the offense. We'd love to see a little bit more as well. Joe Mixon has run really hard of late, and they still have a shot.
Let's talk about a Bengals defensive player. When people around the NFL talk about the great edge rushers in the league, you don't hear Trey Hendrickson come up all that often. TJ Watt's the only player in the NFL right now with more sacks than Trey, who has 16. Does he belong in that conversation? And do you have a theory for why he doesn't get that kind of publicity?
That's a great question. Why does he not? That I can't answer, but I think a sack in 6 straight games and those overall numbers certainly deserve more attention. I think the people that know football know the kind of job Trey Hendrickson does against the run.
We appreciate your time. Enjoy that Browns game, and look forward to catching up again sometime soon. Thanks, Andrew.
Yeah, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year to every Bengals fan, and obviously, Dan, to you and yours as well.
Up next, we show you how Bengals players are giving back to the Cincinnati community. Stay with us here on Bengals Weekly. Welcome back to Bengals Weekly. It doesn't take much to make a difference in someone's life. Sometimes all it takes is just showing up and having a conversation. Over the last few years, Bengals players have been mentoring Cincinnati's youth at Saturday Hoops, a program built on fun, faith, and positive role modeling.
Trenton, what's your name? Justin, I see it. Jeremiah, Trenton. Nice to meet you, bro. Ow! So Saturday Hoops is a basketball program in downtown Cincinnati, usually at Ziegler Park, but in the winter they go to some rec centers. What they promote is sort of bringing some inner city, downtown Cincinnati kids to go play hoops, hopefully learn some life lessons in sports, and it's a great little community that has just come together. They've actually welcomed me in for the last 3-4 years, and it's been a blessing. You want to play?
Play what?
You want to play against Stan? Come on, let's play against Stan. You get someone, I'll get Stan.
So the program was founded 20 years ago. It gives the kids somewhere safe and healthy to be on a Saturday morning, and we hope it helps them make better choices on Friday night because they have somewhere to be on Saturday morning. It helps teach them how to be leaders. We empower the kids at a very young age. We want them alongside us leading this program. We have 4 different locations throughout Cincinnati. We're year-round programming, and we serve over 700 kids a year.
How you been, man? What you been up to?
My birthday tomorrow.
Your birthday tomorrow? What you doing for your birthday? You gonna have a cake? Ice cream?
Hot dogs and hamburgers.
Hot dogs and hamburgers?
The authenticness of just their questions and their comments to me is like the wildest thing. They'll just throw some random comments out there that you're like, whoa, didn't expect that.
One of the dudes asked me what my football name was. I said, I didn't know I was supposed to have a football name. I'd never been asked that before, my football name.
And then, with that authenticity, you get to learn about their life, about their situation, and get to learn, their adversity and whatnot.
What's really cool is I can't think of a single Bengals player who's only come one time. And that really speaks volumes for the program and for the kids in our program. The players come, Trenton brings them, and then they come back again. Sometimes they come with Trenton, sometimes they come on their own.
Straight up and down, like jump.
High. Don't need to jump high.
You don't need like this.
They see what we do here. They see what an impact it has. It reminds them of the mentors that helped them when they were younger, and it makes them feel connected to our community. They don't need to be here, but they spend their time, they choose to be here. And when someone chooses to spend their time with you, no matter how old you are, it really does make you feel valued and connected and really make an impact. They have these role models who have shown them that hard work can get you to where you want to be in life.
I got confidence I'm gonna win it.
You got confidence? All right.
Yeah, my legs shaking too.
Your legs shaking? It's the 4th quarter. You better get right.
Yeah, you got the gritty though? He said when Jamar hit that gritty, why don't y'all do it with him? You gotta let the pro do what they do.
I try to get a gauge for where they're at mentally, some are really confident. They're real confident in their abilities, and I love that. Sometimes you see an older kid or another kid sort of put down another kid. I try to look at it situationally and to be able to instill their confidence, but also their work ethic to be able to go after something that they want.
There's no harder worker in the building than Trent Irwin, right? He fits all our themes: overcomer, been cut, been on the practice squad, kept fighting, gets his opportunity. So it's not just that he's representing and connecting with the kids, but he's showing them on the field what hard work, what overcoming can get you. And then at the same time, he is a cheerful giver and a good steward because he uses his platform to give back to these kids in this community.
Oh, get it! Oh, good pass! Oh, hurry up, offense. We need to score, okay. It's coming.
We have a pledge that we recite every single week, and that's my favorite part of every Saturday. I'm a cheerful giver, I'm a hard worker, and I'm an overcomer. I understand that faith and education are the keys to my success and happiness. I will not let guns and drugs crush my dreams. I matter, I control my destiny, and I am going to make this world a better place. If you're here on a Saturday and you hear 100 young people reciting that in unison, you're going to be moved and you're going to want to come back and you're going to want to make a difference.
Give them some hope, because I think hope is a powerful thing. You know, if you give a kid some hope, be able to achieve something, they can keep striving. And if you take that thing away, that's dangerous. You know, so I think to be able to hopefully give them hope, to be able to aspire to whatever dreams they have is powerful.
Coming up next, it's time for Contepelli's Countdown, where I'll tell you about the recent success Cincinnati has had against Kansas City. Bengals Weekly is brought to you by Betfred, the official sports betting partner of the Cincinnati Bengals, and your local Kia dealers. Visit kia.com to discover movement that inspires. Cincinnati makes the familiar trip to Arrowhead Stadium, as this will be the 5th meeting between the Bengals and the Chiefs over the past 3 seasons. And despite Kansas City coming out on top the last time they squared off, recent history plays in favor of the Bengals as they look to lean into that edge in this must-win game. Cincinnati leads the all-time series with Kansas City as the Bengals have won 7 of the last 9 and 3 of the last 4 meetings. And in those last 3 wins, Lou Anarumo's defense has dialed it up against Patrick Mahomes. The Bengals have held Mahomes to under 280 passing yards in each win and have sacked the quarterback 6 times. 2 of those 3 wins have come at the leg of Evan McPherson hitting a game-winning kick, including the overtime game winner that sent the Bengals to the Super Bowl. McPherson's 19 career points against Kansas City is the most he has scored against a non-AFC North team, as Shooter is perfect against the Chiefs in extra points and field goal attempts. Now, as for this season, Mahomes hasn't put up the numbers we've been used to seeing. He has already thrown a career-high 14 interceptions, which is 3rd most in the league. Mahomes' 91 passer rating on the season is the lowest of his career, as he is averaging a career-low 262 passing yards per outing. And since Week 11, Mahomes has thrown 6 picks and has an 84 passer rating, as the Chiefs are 2-4 in that span. Well, in every loss this season, Mahomes has posted a passer rating under 80, as the Chiefs have been held to 20 points or less in each of those games. Last week, Kansas City allowed a season-high 157 rushing yards to the Raiders in the loss. And since 2020, the Bengals are 10-1 in games when Joe Mixon rushes for at least 80 yards. And with his 335 passing yards last week, Jake Browning hit over 1,500 passing yards, making it the 3rd most passing yardage by a quarterback in their first 5 starts since 1950. Browning can become the 3rd quarterback all-time with 300 or more passing yards in 4 of their first 6 career starts, joining Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes. Contepelli's Countdown is presented by Betfred. And don't forget to download the official Betfred app for your chance to win Bengals Sweet Tickets and to take advantage of exclusive offers. The Bengals and Betfred remind you to gamble responsibly. It's now time for this week's Kettering Health Fantasy Report. T Higgins posted a 2nd straight fantasy outing over 20 points after his 5 receptions for 140 yards and a touchdown against Pittsburgh. Higgins finished as a top 10 fantasy receiver in back-to-back weeks. Evan McPherson has had a great amount of success against the Chiefs in his career. Money Mac has scored 21 total fantasy points against KC, as McPherson is perfect in both extra points and field goals made. And for Kansas City, Travis Kelce enters as the second-ranked fantasy tight end, averaging 15 points per game this season. But Kelce has been held to under 10 fantasy points in back-to-back weeks. And in the regular season, Kelce has never had a 100-yard receiving game against the Bengals. Thanks for tuning in to Bengals Weekly. Kickoff between the Bengals and the Chiefs is coming up. For Dan Horde, Dave Lapham, Jeff Hobson, and our entire crew, I'm Marissa Contepelli. Have a Happy New Year. Bengals Weekly is brought to you by AltaFiber, proud to be the official internet provider of the Cincinnati Bengals. Paycor, proud to be the official HR software provider of the Cincinnati Bengals. And Kettering Health, the official healthcare provider of the Cincinnati Bengals.